Last night, Dimitri Orlov came up clutch for the Carolina Hurricanes late in their game against the Arizona Coyotes. Find out what happened in that game, as well as what's next for the Hurricanes over the All Star break in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Monday afternoon. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, folks. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your best bet of $5 or more wins. Visit fanduel.com/locked on to get started today. Now, last night, the Carolina Hurricanes were able to go into the All-Star break with a win over the Arizona Coyotes. This was their third consecutive win, and they really had to work for this one, folks. Dimitri Orlov, as I said, scored the game-winning goal for them with just 35 seconds left in the game. So, at that point, we're all like, oh, it's gonna go to overtime. We'll at least get a point out of this. But no, he came up big for them when they needed him to. Hurricanes ended up coming away with a 3-1 win in this game. But like I said, they had to work for this win, folks. The first period was pretty rough for the Hurricanes. Antti Raanta really kept them in it. It could have gotten a lot worse a lot quicker. They were lucky to go into the second only being down 1-0. Yeah, they were giving Arizona lots and lots of chances and good chances at that from the get-go in the first period. It was very uncharacteristically bad defense and decision making from the team. Yeah, I don't know if it was a thing of like, oh man, I'm just ready to get this one over with, go finish packing, for my vacation and whatever, we know Seth Jarvis is going down to Mexico somewhere, probably Cancun or something. But I don't know if they were all kind of just their minds just weren't there. They were already thinking about, their vacation or what. I don't know if that was the case. I don't know. Um, because we all know how it is, when you're, at work, the day before, you go on vacation or whatever. I don't know if they were in that kind of mindset. I don't know. But Antti Raanta really kept him in it. He had to make some big saves for the team. Like I said, it could have gotten a lot worse, a lot quicker. They were lucky to only be down that one goal, and that one goal coming from Logan Cooley. And as we've seen many times, it was also a late goal that the Hurricanes gave up. This came 14-21 in the first period, and it was I get kind of it was deflected shot, whatever. But man, the Hurricanes and giving up late goals, it's something that has cost them many times in the past. But thankfully, in this game as well as past few games, they have been on the right side of these late goals, so that has been nice for them. But they did have to bounce back big in the second period, and I'm glad they did. Again, as to what went wrong in that first period, you can also, throw in, the Coyotes came ready to play as well. They're going up against, one of the big dogs in the East. Want to make a statement, heading into the All-Star break, maybe. And then, like I said, the Hurricanes mentally just may not have been there, may have been a little focused on vacation and whatever else they got planned going on in the All-Star break. And then also, we've seen that many times before with the team of, they take a while to wake up. We've seen that a lot regardless of what point in the season it is, whether it's early, halfway through, late, playoffs, we've kind of seen that from this team regardless of what time it is during the game. So I don't know what went wrong there. And I think it is a testament to the growth of the team. I guess would be the word I'm looking for. How they've grown and matured over the years, because we've seen in the years past where they get in a position like they were in. They didn't show up in the first period. And it just feels like it just keeps snowballing and getting worse. They may make a push, but we've seen it where they have a period like that. We're like, all right, this game's done. We've seen that before, but this team has continued to improve year after year. These guys, the core guys, they've grown, matured, they know what needs to be done. So they got the job done in this game, and I think that was really, really good for them. They're entering that All-Star break on a high, but I keep saying, how they bounce back, in the second and whatnot, and we will dive into what they did in the second right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, passion, drive, and patience is what brings home the winning trophy. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only, available to U.S. customers. Now, the Hurricanes did really bounce back in that second period, and that was really big. They really, really, really tightened up defensively. Um, Whereas in the first period, the Hurricanes, where was the shots by period, allowed the Coyotes 8 shots on goal in the first period. They actually got outshot by Arizona in the first, 8-7. That was not the case for the remainder of this game. In the second period, the Hurricanes outshot the Coyotes 14-3. And in the third period, it was even worse. The Hurricanes outshot the Coyotes 18-0. So they really tightened up defensively. Everyone's seeing the meme of you're kind of laid back in your chair, whatever, playing your video game, and then like you sit up, when it gets serious. It very much felt like this, similar to the Lions 49ers game yesterday in the second half, with the 49ers waking up. Um, it felt very much like that, final shot total being 39-11. That's pretty par for the course for the Hurricanes of outshooting their opponents so much. it's just nice they came away with the win this time because we've seen the exact opposite of that before. And then the Hurricanes special teams obviously, showed up. They didn't really have to a whole lot either. The Coyotes or the I guess the Hurricanes went 1 for 1 on the penalty kill and then 1 for 2 on the power play. Not a whole lot of work to do for the special teams unit tonight, but when they were out there, they did their job like they're supposed to. And heck, just to tie it up there in the second period, Martin Necas scored a power play goal with assist from Brent Burns and Seth Jarvis, and obviously, ties it up. The Hurricanes obviously got a lot of momentum at that point. That came just under midway through the second period at 7:57 in the second period. And it was also on a 4 against 3 power play as well. You don't see those too often. So the Hurricanes, really, coming away doing what they needed to do. And then, as we've said a lot, Dimitri Orlov coming up big for the Hurricanes, with just 35 seconds remaining in the game. And coming off some assists from Jalen Chatfield and Jack Drury as well. So, that was, really, like I said, when he scored that goal, everyone's kind of thinking, oh, going to go to overtime. Um, but wasn't the case. Drury dropped it back, and well, I picked up and put it home. Yeah, it's his third goal of the season. So but that's also not his that hasn't been his MO here. And then just 13 seconds later, as Mentor is making the announcement for the Orlov goal, Jesper Fast ends up giving the Hurricanes yet another goal. And at 1937 in the third period, and really sealing the deal at that point. I think with that one, they had Arizona on the ropes. I think that just kind of any little bit of momentum Arizona, I mean, I know anything Arizona had left was gone after that Orlov goal, and it being so quick after, I think it just kind of had them rattled, and because we've seen that with the Hurricanes before, of them being on the wrong side of that, of team scores on them, and then they're a little rattled, and they end up scoring again. We've seen that happen many times. Um, and then also just one thing, I don't think a lot of folks are necessarily talking about is the fact that Seth Jarvis had yet another multi-point night with assists on both the Natchez and Fost goals as well. So, him obviously showing up for the Hurricanes as well. He has continued to have a really, really good season this year. Obviously, we know, he already said, he wasn't gonna go to the All-Star game. Even if he was voted in, he was going on vacation. So, it is what it is there. But him just quietly having a really, really good season. And, I do just want to take a quick look to see where he is at on the Hurricanes point totals. I know he's obviously second. He is now at 38 points on the year at 15 goals and 23 assists. Really good, for him. And, I love that, the Hurricanes are able to go into this break with some momentum behind them. I hope that, they can take this time off. Obviously, I know Aho is gonna have to go to the All-Star game, and do his thing there. Um, but I love that they're able to have this momentum building behind them. These guys that can, go take some time off, you know, relax, decompress, recharge, heal up a little bit. These guys, taking hits, uh, you know, every single night they go out there on the ice, and that stuff mounts up. And just having those few days, just the hey, if anything, just sit on your couch for a day, and just relax, do what they want to do. And I think, it's something that can really help them. I just hope, when they, get back, they are able to, get right back into it, and there's not that vacation rust on there or anything like that. That is going to be important. But, as far as what's next for this team, we will be talking about that as well as player quotes from the game right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, it is Super Bowl season, so happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And if you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or two or three or four. Who knows? Not only can you bet on who will win the Super Bowl, win Super Bowl 58. God, 58, man. But FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. And new customers join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. And of course, you're not just limited to football either. NBA season is in full swing. In NHL season is obviously in full swing as well. And before you know it, MLB will be back as well. So just visit fanduel.com/, locked on to sign up. That's fanduel.com/locked on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Now, as far as the player quotes from the game, we always like to look to see what folks had to say after the game, and we'll be kicking it off with Rod Brind'amour when he was asked about Dimitri Orlov, saying, quote, "It's tough for him because he's used to playing a lot more of a role in terms of minutes, but the strength of our team is our back end, and it's tough to find those minutes that he's used to. His value is still the same when he's out there. We needed that. What he brought tonight, that was his best game as a Hurricane. He did everything he needed to, had good defending, and then obviously jumped in there and made a great play. Hopefully that helps him turn the corner and feel good about what he's doing," end quote. And yeah, definitely was his best game as a Hurricane for sure. I have not seen a single person disagree with that. And yeah, he is there on the third pairing with Jalen Chatfield, so he's not going to get the minutes that he's necessarily used to. But yeah, I think Brendan Moore's right. I do think that could be a game that helps him uh, turn a little bit of corner, build some confidence. He came up when they needed him to. And I really think it can be. We'll see how things go. It's a little bit of a weird um, situation, or I guess in terms of timing, because that was the final game before the All Star break. So now they are going to have a week off. So, you know, what happens there. Is he going to be able to keep that any bit of momentum he gained from that, heading into the Hurricanes next game? Because it's not like, oh, they played yesterday, then they'll play again tomorrow. It's not like that. So that'll be interesting to see how he follows it up. And then, of course, speaking of Dmitry Orlov, he was asked about the moments after scoring that goal, saying, quote, "We're focused on our game and how we should play. Today was a result. They didn't have a lot of shots. We played the right way." It is important to get this win before the bye week. Every point matters now, especially with everyone in our division being so tight. So obviously, uh, yeah, excuse me, that was definitely just him, talking about where the Hurricanes are at. I know kind of not a whole lot to really go off of there. We've kind of already talked about all of that. So, kind of just echoing everything we've already said there. They got the win. They're able to limit Arizona to, what was it, 11 shots on goal throughout this game, none in the third. And then, everyone in the division is really tight right now. We're going to look to see what it's looking like real quick. Obviously, the Hurricanes are still behind the Rangers. Rangers in first at 30, 16, and 3 with 63 points. Hurricanes in second at 28, 15, and 5 and 61 points. Then three with the Flyers, 25, 19, and 6 and 56 points. Then Islanders at 52 points. And then Penguins, Devils at 51, Capitals also at 51. Forgot about them for a second there. Had to scroll a little bit, and the Blue Jackets at 40. So yeah, top, the Metro is really crowded right now, and like you said, every point matters. At this point, anything they can get to get that leg up. But I think how good they were defensively was really big. And then obviously we know just how good Jacob Slavin is, of course. And he was asked about holding Arizona to just 11 shots, including that zero in the third period. He said, quote, "I wouldn't say it's just our defense. It's a full five-man effort out there all around the ice, forwards being good on the forecheck and keeping them out of our zone, and then backtracking really hard. That helps us be able to uh, stay off of defending. It's something that we've always talked about here, limiting their chances. When you limit them to that many shots, it's always going to help your chances," end quote. And yeah, he's right. It had to be a full team effort, for them to bounce back the way they did. And uh yeah, it wasn't just him, Brent Burns and Orlov. We talked about him a lot. It wasn't just them. Everyone had to go out there and do their job. And that they did. And that was absolutely fantastic for this team. And I do hope that any momentum they've got from this game, whether it be Orlov, Natchez, Jarvis, Ronta, whoever, or just the team as a whole, they are able to hold on to that and take it into their next game. There's not a whole lot going on over this next week. A lot of guys are just going to be on vacation. Obviously, Sebastian Aho, he's going to be at the All-Star game. Looking forward to that. We'll obviously talk about that, but on February 1st, on Thursday, there is something of note for you Caniacs, and that is that Rod Brind'amour will be at the Canes corner. Seth Jarvis was, of course, at the last one there at Backyard Bistro. This time around, it is going to be Rod Brind'amour, and that's going to be fun. That's going to be a packed house. I'll personally be at work, so I won't be able to go. But I was kind of just seeing like, oh man, this is gonna be packed. Like, there's a cover fee for it and all of that. I'm like, oh man, they are expecting a ridiculous house for this. So if because normally it's just first come first serve for this kind of thing. But yeah, with Rod, it's gonna be ridiculous. If you're going, you're gonna have to go early for this. If you're wanting to get a table, let alone a good one near the stage, man. But that's obviously going to be fun. And then of course we have the All-Star game itself, and all of its festivities and whatnot. And then the Hurricanes will be back in practice on February 4th to prepare for the game against the Vancouver Canucks on February 6th. This stuff is right around the corner. You're going to be here before we know it, folks. And I hope you guys all enjoy your All-Star week. Enjoy watching Sebastian Aho go out there. I don't think it's been announced what skills competitions he'll be in. But he's going to be in some. Hope you enjoy watching that. Hope you enjoy watching him play in the All-Star games. And then if you are able to make it to the Brind'amour Canes corner, let me know how that goes, and how packed it was, and how early you had to get there. I want to know that. So make sure you let me know all that stuff on socials at LO_Hurricanes, or myself at Jared Ellis_96. Also, leave comments down there in the YouTube comment section, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. And as always, folks, let's go Canes.